Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode here of Stallions Run. I'm, of course, your host, Buck, as always, with Scout. Scout, week two, we have the super draft happen. We have right now 11 new players on the Stallions, potentially with more on the way. We'll hint at that later, but still lots to talk about. So I guess let's get off right into things with that super draft. I guess first off, what's your thoughts? I know you have mine, but what's your thoughts on that super draft?
So, my opinions have really changed from the first hour reaction after it happened. I do like that we brought back significant pieces. We brought back Bo, we brought back Bobby, we brought back Marlon. But it's like I felt like we could have done more damage with like those first few picks. Because like I know one that I kind of hated at first, but then I realized, oh crap, it wasn't even available, was Nate Brooks going to Michigan. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, ugh. But hey, he wasn't available at any time. Um, but I think overall the draft was fine. I think that we should see potentially probably like another ball catcher in free agency, probably a few more defensive players in free agency. But like we're going to get up to 75 on the camp roster, and I feel like that's going to get wild with like how in depth the team could be. Because like I know Paris Ford and Jeff Bidet were talking this morning and this afternoon about, hey, if I like ticked anyone off, I apologize. And I think there's truth to like the GMs drafting who they wanted, but I feel like once you get to 75 players, like we'll basically have what like almost 200 extra players on like past
Yeah.
the draft, and it's like I think we will definitely find the top 50 players for all 8 teams like very easily. It's not going to be there's not another league to compete talent. And although I thought I made a funny comment in one of the group chats, I think you might have saw it, where I was like, we need another league in the U.S., the United States
Yeah.
football league.
Well, I mean, there's technically one trying to start up right now. You get the IFA,
Yeah.
but you know, there's it's still important. Like right now, there's other leagues playing that are major that are outdoor. Plenty of indoor leagues, but still, you have
Mhm.
leagues that you know there's only one outdoor right now, and that's the UFL. Um, I want to talk about this in a second. Like I said, the reaction from Stallions fans I saw for about the first four, but no, I'll say round one and two. That was a really bad reaction. Three and four, things started to kind of fall down. The hatred. I'm looking at the list right
Yeah.
now. It was about rounds one and two was rough.
Yeah.
The reaction I saw. I mean, look, though, Holder. I'm going to talk about him in a little bit. That's an excellent pickup if he can get to that 2022 form, which I expect he can. If Zach's drafted him, but I guess would you agree that everyone thought the first few rounds for the super draft, everyone thought that the Stallions were going to go with offensive guys at first and not defensive guys after that first dispersal draft?
Yeah. I figured that we had a few more pieces to slot in on um on the defense, but that first pick, like I know we need an offensive line, but I feel like that was such a random name to hear. I know eventually we did get Jameer Johnson back, but
Mm,
because the first one was a offensive lineman from UMass, correct?
yes, Lanier
Yeah,
Coleman.
yeah. I was trying to pull up the list, but the website was being slow. But I thought it was good, after it all came through, but definitely, like, those first 4 picks, I think everybody was just, like, scratching their head a little bit, because it wasn't just the fact that there wasn't a big time guy, but, there wasn't a big time, skill position player, but it was just interesting to me, I guess. Like, we did have, like, we had Amari Rogers and stuff that we took over from the regular draft where we just locked down in general, but I'm even looking at one of our rosters right now, and I think yeah. So we have 7 tackles listed, but then only 2 centers and one generic offensive line listed according to PFN. Um, and but one name like I even told you this. I didn't know Damon Lloyd. I didn't know we had kept him like in the overall first part. But
Yeah, he was someone who was protected.
yeah,
But I think the issue was, like I said, people were expecting a more offensive draft to start off. We went with a more defensive draft, really. Leonard Coleman, we already talked about him a little bit. I think that, God, it looks like Zach is going to be choosing to elect for an offensive line that is going to really give whoever's going to be the starter, my guess is Jamar Smith, a lot of time to make a decision. Is he going to, or at least create holes? Jamar Smith, someone who can run. He's a very mobile quarterback. We saw that in the 2022 season. Actually, could take off and could rush if he needed to, creating, extra yardage. Um,
yeah,
I guess the question was, with how many offensive linemen we kept, the reaction wasn't towards, oh, we drafted a bad player. It's the exact opposite. It was, okay, we drafted a great offensive lineman. Why do we draft another offensive lineman? You
yeah.
know,
And like I know
um,
off stream we had kind of agreed like our like fantasy pick would have been Reggie Corbin. And
mhm.
I was really high on him, and I know that we brought back Z and we brought back Bo, but when I saw like Corbin like he went undrafted, but when I
Yeah,
saw that we kept picking these other guys, I was like, oh my lord, we're gonna lose out on this guy. But hey, after the whole draft went down, like I still think we have one of the best rosters in the league, and
I still think we have the
yeah, for
best.
sure. And but you were talking about Jamar. I think the fact that they picked Jalen Morton means that like Jamar is the guy for this season. Or at least it's either Jamar or Adrian Martinez because I love Jalen Morton, but I think like just like the tone that bringing back your backup quarterback, like it gives that kind of vibe of like, yeah, this is going to be our guy for like like Jamar or Adrian are going to be our guy for the season.
Mm. So let's talk about a round two pick, Elijah Holder. Someone, if you probably remember, Gambler in 2022. I mean, the guy could pick off the ball if he got the chance. That's the part I'm most excited about. He's someone that, you know, we if you throw him on the field, he's a ball hawk. He can go out there and grab a football that's in the air. I guess how many? I don't think the Stallions. I think it was about half an interception per game last year. Was it that? But the average, or do you not remember?
Um,
Oh,
might have been that.
yeah, we were not an intercepting team. We were more of a fumbled team. So
Yeah,
having someone like him who can, get some pickoffs, that's going to be an interesting thing to see. Jalen Morton, we already talked about him a little bit. He's probably going to be the third string quarterback. That's not a bad thing. I mean, you know, so for some reason with the Stallions, backup quarterbacks become the best quarterback that season. I mean,
mhm,
we all remember first game, Alex Magoo against New Jersey goes down. Then, last year, Jamar's in for that first half, injures the finger, he's out. Alex Magoo's in.
yeah,
Could we see a scenario where Jalen Morton is second QB? There's another injury, and we now know the story of Jalen Morton for some reason comes into play.
yeah.
Something to think about. Um, but yeah, so we already talked about him. Terrell Bonds. I'll let you talk about this one. I think this is a pick you like.
Oh yeah. I brought up Terrell Bonds. He was a HBCU player, which I love highlighting him. And then B, he was kind of like uh I don't want to call him Nate Brooks light because they're two different players, but he had that same play style. You can slot him anywhere. And I think that was kind of the one piece that they had missed, like a true corner, a true nickel corner, that type of thing. Um, I think that they had a lot of uh, potential. They had a lot of potential. Like we brought in Eli Walker at safety. We brought in another safety in the draft, and then we had all these DBs, but we didn't have a true corner, or at least we didn't have a true corner to replace Brooks. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that was their aim with that pick, was to just replace Brooks. And
Yeah,
I think it'll get the job done. Do I think he is a better corner than Brooks? I don't like. There's no evidence that I can say that outright right now. But I do think like it'll get the job done. Like I think we definitely improved everywhere else. Like we might have had the best linebacking core out of the 18 USFL league last year, and then we decided to bring in Chris Orr, Tizino, and bring back Scooby. And I think
Mhm.
that's like I looked at that and I was like, oh my God. Like when I just sat down and thought about it, like I was like, because I don't know if we're gonna go odd or even up front, but assuming that we go odd, like then we can just move in whichever fourth linebacker we want, as long as we keep
Yeah.
those three on the field. Um, but I think defense will be fine. I do think there's a lot of good defenses now, and I do think offense, even though Jamar will have a lot of time, I think we might need, like I said beforehand, another receiver, another tight end, or even I know we have Ricky Person still, I know we have CJ still, but if we can get like I don't want to say another running back, but like a more receiving type running back to potentially like add to that room, because I know like our offense last year was like if CJ went out, it was just a run or pass offense. It wasn't like a run pass
Yeah.
option offense. Um, but you never
Yeah.
know.
All right. So then round five, a name that science fans are maybe familiar with, even though they might have not heard the name a lot. Ryan Langen, long snapper, so someone that again, chemistry important. And then round six, this is kind of the last unfamiliar name for science fans. Montre Harper, another cornerback, excellent pick from the Brahmas. Very very good pickup there. And then round 7 through 11, it was basically getting our guys back that we had lost due to only be able to protect 42 people. I guess one. Let's start off with round seven, of course. Bo Scarborough. I said this yesterday during our live stream reaction with the bit of a disorganized draft. Um, but I guess I said, look, he's going to be someone who can be useful as both of a player, and maybe something happens, he gets injured again, unfortunately. He's an excellent PR piece for the Stallions. I mean, we've all talked about this. He was someone last year, was going out to, kind of being part of a Stallions representative, showing like, hey, but you get your season tickets and all of that. I guess what's your thoughts on Bo Scarborough, of course, already being, well known for his time in Alabama, but at the same time, someone who came in the middle of season one, became basically almost RB1 instantly, and then season two he plays that first game, gets injured unfortunately. That first game was so cursed. But
Yeah.
I guess overall your thoughts on Bo Scarborough coming back, but potentially in his first full season with UFL season one.
Yeah, and just to touch on Madre, because that's the one new player, I guess. We did sign him beforehand, and then we did not keep him locked
Yep.
down. But I do love that we like drafted him because he's another true corner, and I think like true corner was like a need going into this draft because we had a
Mm.
lot of safety, it's a lot of backers, but true corner was definitely a sought after point. But yeah, Bo, hey, he like I don't know if this is putting too much dip on his chip, but the signing of Bo Scarborough in the first season elevated the team in such a way that they won the championship. Like I think Birmingham was a very good team before Bo came in, but I think if you watch back either playoff game and you saw like Bo's like I think it was a championship game, like Bo's first breakout run, like between him and Scooby, those are like the two guys that like the last 4 or 5 weeks of the season in the playoffs, they just like decided to
Oh yeah.
absolutely play their ass off. Oh, sorry. Um,
Oh,
but,
you're
uh,
not wrong though.
but yeah, but I love Bo. I love that we brought him back. I know you've met him. I've interacted with him a few times. But yeah, great running back, great person. I know we use him a lot of PR. I'll use him in even more PR stuff now that he's officially on the team. And yeah, it should be a good selection.
Yep. The next pick's round eight. Jameer Ross Johnson, a former Stallion, back again with the team after being left unprotected. Your thoughts? I think it was a great chemistry pickup. I think he's someone you can easily slot into our line.
Yeah. As most of everyone that actually follows like the Southern Tribe Sports account knows, I'm a huge Southern guy. Love Jameer Johnson, not just because he's Texas A&M, but he's just a great tackle. I honestly think that he could play either tackle or guard if he really wanted to. Especially going back to the point of like us having 7 tackles. Obviously, you can't start 7 tackles. Um, but yeah, it's a great pickup. It's another one where I was confused at first of like why didn't we like pick him up, which is weird because like I totally understood the Bo one because I think with Bo it was like Zach was sitting back like no one's gonna take a shot on an old running back with an injury history, right? Like I think that was like his method of thought. And then by the time this pick came or Bo's pick came around, he picked Bo. By the time Johnson came around, he picked Johnson. And I think it definitely like it's a good pick. It's a good spot. I don't think that there was another offensive lineman at that point that was better than him. So, and I think he was one of our best offensive linemen last year. So, hey,
Hmm.
so yeah.
All right. Round nine, a name that Stallions fans are very familiar with, Zaquandre White, back with the team after being left unprotected. Also, basically, for the rest of the draft, these were unprotected guys that the Stallions managed to get back. Uh, your thoughts? I mean, again, he was someone who kind of, when Bo was injured, took over that kind of
Mhm.
physical running back role in terms of, all right, we need, 2 or 3 yards. Get it over the line for us, please.
Yeah. I think Z, he's a different type of runner than Bo, and it's probably because he has like, he definitely has a few more years, like left of wheels than Bo does. But he's definitely like it's almost like a power finesse combo, like
Mm,
like Bo is more of like the classic power back, whereas like Zaquandre White is more like prime Todd Gurley. If that makes sense.
mm,
Like it's just
yeah, it
like the
does.
like the elevation purposes, just like the explosive athleticism, I think would be the the right term. But, and we saw him hurdle some people last year, and he'll probably hurdle some people this year. I think he missed 1 game with an injury last year or 2.
I believe so, yeah.
But yeah, but he was a great player at South Carolina. He balled out in high school, so definitely could be one of those players that we see next year get a shot at the NFL. I think one thing with running back last year, and I know like Darius Victor felt it, Corbin felt it, almost every running back felt it, was that like if you couldn't receive you weren't gonna get an NFL look last year. And I know that
Mm.
sounds weird, but it was like I know CJ Merrill got a look in the NFL, and a lot of the other receiving backs got a look in the NFL. But I'm not sure if a bell cow back um, could actually, or like I'm not sure if a bell cow back would be as sought after compared to like a receiving back because like every running back in the NFL has receiving. And I think Zaquandre has receiving. I meant to preface that, but yeah, but I think Zaquandre could definitely be a guy that we use in the receiving game more often. So
All right. And then Brown 10, Bobby Holly, again, you talked about old school just a second ago.
yeah,
He plays that old school style. Skip Holtz love that. Again, the Stallions brought back the T-bone into fashion last season.
so,
Like, how is that possible? But they did it. And, again, it went viral. The Stallions using that T-bone formation to go get that touchdown. Now he's back with the team. Again, during the stream yesterday, Ace was talking about how during COVID he was using a pickup truck as equipment to exercise. Like that's how strong the guy is, and to have him back on the team, someone who could just just like you know just push someone away. That's a very important aspect that is very underlooked, and how Skip Holtz views a fullback as still that viable position that he sees it as.
yeah. And like the funniest thing is like I don't know how many of y'all have seen me play NCAA 6, but like I love the 3 back formations, right? So it's like the
Mhm.
T-bone or the power T is the funniest thing to me because it's like on paper, especially like in with modern in professional football with modern defensive playbooks, there's no reason that if I put like 7 people, like or 8 offensive players within the stick or within like the dashes, that it should work, and it does. Like so there's some way, shape, form, and for the Stallions, it usually works really well. Um, And I think definitely bringing back those three guys to add to all that flavor, it helps because I know Bobby, he's not just like the fullback. He's also like our X factor, like on fake punts, or he's our X factor, like if we're trying to get away with a cheeky bootleg that has a little back end pass or something. And
Hmm.
I think in like a perfect world for Mr. Skip Holtz, he would want to use Bobby at least like 3 or 4 times a game, but he doesn't want to like show off. He doesn't want to show off to New
Yeah.
Orleans or show off to Michigan something that they would use in the playoffs or something they use in a playoff clinching game. But yeah, but I love Bobby. I think you know that more than most, and but yeah, definitely a good choice for us to get him back because unlike halfbacks, it looks like for the NFL purposes, there's about 7 or 8 teams that have a true fullback now, thanks to like the Vikings getting CJ Ham. There's a few more out there, but it's like fullback is coming back into fruition, and it's thanks to like things like the Vikings using a fullback, or Doug Peterson has used like the wing T or the T-bone with the Jags a lot now,
Hmm.
and but yeah, but I think like it was a dead position that is now like people are like, oh, we could totally use this in X, Y, and Z. So, but yeah, a good
Yeah.
pickup.
All right, and then finally, the last pick of the Stallions made Myron Mitchell, of course, the great wide receiver, back with the team. There was some concern, maybe is he going to go somewhere else, leaving him unprotected? But he's back with the Stallions. Overall, exciting pickup for me just to see him back on the field. What about you?
Oh, dude, I'd look for his name the whole time, and then I joined the podcast
Stream.
yesterday,
Yeah.
and I had been like recapping our draft, and I see new post notification from Birmingham Stallions. I'm like, oh, we have an 11th round.
Yeah.
Which like I felt like with that it was so like oh, like, okay, one thing sounding off on the draft, having
Hmm.
it to where it wasn't, like, live streamed, like, the picks didn't come in live, but then having it
Hmm.
also to the point of, like yeah, sorry. But having to the point where, like, the teams themselves were posting, I felt like there was a disconnect there that we should probably iron up,
Oh yeah.
um, but yeah, Marlon coming, that was great. Like I'm pretty sure because Marlon was at the season ticket holder thing, right? With CJ.
I'm not sure. I didn't get to
Um,
go to any of those season ticket holder events.
Wait, was it him?
Oh, we're doing research. Oh, come on, be quick. Come on, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. But I guess while
Whatever.
Scott's doing
Anyways,
that,
we'll figure it out in week 3. But yeah,
um,
but love Marlon, and glad that he's back. I think he'll do great things for us. He was the one that went down in week 1, right? Or
who are you talking about?
Marlon
Byron?
Williams, or
Marlon Williams?
yeah,
Um, I think he did.
yeah,
It was either
yeah.
him or Mitchell. It's one of those two.
But yeah.
All right.
I swear I think of these things like at the last minute. I'm like, I should look this up or whatever.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's it for the dispersal draft. Now free agency is wide open. All I'm going to say is because we some people have been asked not to spread it. Um, a certain Alabama name is apparently signing with the Stallions tomorrow. A very recent Alabama name, I should add. No, it's not Nick Saban. So that's all I'm going to say. It's going to be a big pickup for the offensive side of the ball. We won't be able to talk about it until next week, but
Hopefully.
I expect for a lot of fans to be very happy with this pickup. So yeah. So before we go, Scout, I have a question for you.
Yes.
So we already know that the schedule is likely going to be very similar to the USFL schedule last year. You play your division 2 times. You play the other side 1 time, away or home. So
Yeah.
we already know who one of the away teams are for us. It's going to be the Arlington Renegades. Who do you want from the XFL division? You have 3 unique choices that you could have come here or go away to.
Mm.
We so we could go to San Antonio, we can go to St. Louis, or we can go to DC. who do you want to go to with our second away game for the XFL division?
So I have a theory here. I have a
Uh-oh.
theory that we will San Antonio is going to Birmingham
Okay, explain that.
because there's two Texas teams, right?
Right.
And the dollar, like the dollar sign would equal out if you have the one home game and the one away game there. You know what I mean?
Okay, I
And
get that.
then
So you're
so
saying
and then
San Antonio is going to be a home game for the Stallions.
yes. And if
Okay.
AJ McCarron stays with the Battlehawks, I don't think he's confirmed or denied yet, but I assume that he would make this decision before the next decision is made. If AJ stays with the Battlehawks, we'll be going to DC, and then the Battlehawks will be going here. I think that would make the most sense. Like I don't even think that's coping. Like I think like they would want to have the most profitable matchups in in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
Because I don't think DC would travel well, like outside of like a home opener. I don't think DC would
Mhm.
travel to Birmingham. You know what I mean? But I think St. Louis to Birmingham isn't that far of a drive because I thought it was a far drive until I realized that Memphis is a 4-hour drive from Birmingham. And then I was like, oh, because it's closer from I think it was like
I'm gonna
barely
hang on.
closer from
You got
Memphis
me
to
questions because last time I remember it was about 2.5 hours from Birmingham. Hold on, it's not 4 hours. Yeah, Memphis, Tennessee. Hold on,
According to
Birmingham.
Google, it is 3 hours and 58 minutes.
Wow, it is. I don't remember that being that
This
long.
just in buck speeds.
Hey, I'm not going to confirm or deny that. I plead the fifth. Anyway, yeah, I mean, it's 4 hours. So St. Louis from to Memphis is about three, I believe. So 7 hours. I mean, you can make if you want to. The Birmingham is actually a pretty decent, weekend destination for anyone. Just a reminder. So, I mean, I could see that happening. It's definitely easier than DC to Birmingham.
Yeah. And I think we would probably be going to, or wait, yeah, we would be going to DC in that thing. And honestly, I would probably make an excuse to go up there. Dude. I've never been to DC. I never,
Oh,
I know like everybody's like, oh, in fifth grade, in fifth grade, like I'd like moved or whatever, so like I never did
mm.
anything in DC, but I don't want to make an excuse to go up there because if it'd probably be like what May or June
I mean,
or
who knows? It could be a week two matchup for us.
oh my god, I hope not. But anyway, but you get what I mean.
Yeah,
Even if it's April, it's still nice little time to go up there because I would want to be up there now. Jesus,
yeah.
I have a friend in Virginia, and he sent me his weather thing, and it was like feels like 3 days in a row. And I was like, Jesus.
Well, I mean, hey, here right now in Tuscaloosa, it's 20 degrees. So,
Mm.
yeah, yeah. All right. Well, I think that's just about it. But, Scout, where can people find you?
Yeah, so you can find me either at Southern Charm SP. That's where I do most of my general stuff and potentially some of my USFL stuff as well. Or you can find me Scout USFL. Scout.
All right. And you can find me on Twitter. We are now at Stallions UFM. So you can go find me there if you're looking for your kind of Stallions update, my thoughts on things going on, talking about real time before we give an in-depth analysis here on the show. So until then, we shall see you guys next week. Once again, giddy up.